Hello and welcome back. In this lesson we are going to talk about DNS, Domain Name System. The DNS, Domain Name System, is like the phone book of the internet. It translates user-friendly domain names like example.com into IP addresses like 192.0.2.1 that computers use to identify each other on the network. So let's see how it works. When you type a website name like google.com into your browser, your computer needs to find the website IP address, which is a set of numbers like 172.217.5.110 to load the page. DNS is what helps translate the name you type into that number. For example, just like you look up a friend's phone number by their name, DNS looks up the website's IP address by its name. So, this makes it easier for us, because instead of remembering long strings of numbers, which are the IP addresses, you only need to remember its names, like google.com. DNS takes care of finding the right numbers behind the scenes. For example, imagine if you had to remember someone's phone number instead of just their name. So DNS lets you use names while it handles the numbers. So when you visit a website, you type the website's name. So you enter example.com into your browser. The DNS looks up the address. So your computer sends a request to a DNS server, like asking for directions, to find out the IP address of example.com. DNS finds the IP address, so the DNS server checks its database and finds the IP address for example.com. And then your computer uses the IP address to connect to the website server, and the website loads on your screen. So why is it important? Well, it's important because DNS allows you to use simple names like youtube.com instead of remembering complicated numbers, the IP addresses. Then DNS helps your computer find websites quickly by looking up their IP addresses in milliseconds. And finally, DNS is designed to handle billions of requests every day, helping people all over the world access websites easily. So, in this image, let's analyze how the DNS request works. So we have a mobile phone on which we are trying to connect to the example.com website. So we send a request to the internet, which is composed by a series of DNS servers. And we ask, what is the IP address of example.com? So the internet sends us to the server which hosts the website.com, which has an IP address of 9.9.9.9, for example. So now we have the IP address of the example.com, and the DNS servers sends us this IP address. So now we can connect to the server which hosts the website we want to visit. But we must go through a series of hops through the servers which compose the internet to finally reach the server which hosts the website example.com that we want to visit. So this is not exactly how DNS requests work, but this is just a simplified version of how the internet works. I didn't want to put too much pressure on this because you're at the beginning of your journey. But this is a good example of how a simplified version of the DNS requests work.